Hi, welcome to Old School Blues Guitar. It is time for the classic lick lesson for April through June 2020. I had a request for the fill licks from Bobby Bland's Further On Up the Road, which I believe features Pat Hare playing the guitar. Correct me if I'm wrong. But anyway, this is a great song for playing in the E position. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole song. What I have done is I've tabbed out the fill licks for all the verses in the song, and I did a lesson on the solo earlier, and so that's out there on my YouTube channel under the classic solo lessons. And instead, what I'm going to do here is just teach the first verse, and then I think using my tab and listening to the original recording, you can figure the rest out yourself. Okay, so first of all, the song is in the key of F. I'm thinking, since the licks are obviously, at least obviously to me, in the E position, and the song is in the key of F, either he tunes down and plays, a normal E position, or they put a capo, or he put a capo on the first fret and then played the E position in F. So when you put a capo on the first fret, now my E chord, first position E, becomes an F. And so all these licks you hear throughout the song are just Pat Hare playing these riffs over this E, first E position. The other chords in the song don't really matter until the solo when it comes to playing the licks. It's really just E position. So just a quick review. First position blues box in first E position. You've got 3-2 open on the first string, same on the second string, mostly second string or second fret, third string open. You can also use that note right there, which is the third fret. I'm numbering the frets from the capo. I don't want to get confused by numbering them without the capo. That confuses the crap out of me when I look at tabs that are done like that. So I'm just going to tell you from the capo. So third fret, you can use third string. And then pretty much the only other notes here, second fret of the fourth string, and then second fret of the fifth string, open. He doesn't really use those in this song. He does use an open third string some. So let's go through the fill licks. In the first verse, there's the introduction to the song, and then he sings the first part of the first verse, Further On Up the Road, and then he plays the first fill lick, which, if I'm correct, goes like this. Let me play that again. So what I'm doing here is I'm starting out bending the third fret of the second string, and getting the open first string. I'm going to do that twice, and then the open second string. One feature of the fill licks in the song is the frequent use of the open strings. And I'm going to show you examples right here in the first lick. So we got this. And then he's going to go to the second fret of the third string. He's going to bend and release and get the open and that lick on the open third string. I don't even know if I did that in my intro. That's what it should be. You can go to that note, first fret of the third string, but he doesn't do that on this first lick. One more time. That's what I hear. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's my best guess there. So this bend with the open string, and then coming to that open second string before going to the bass strings. That's something he does on many of these fill licks. So that is what I have labeled as fill lick number 1. Fill lick number 2 in Further On Up the Road is very similar, but that's what you're going to see. Every time he does one of these licks, it's slightly different. I can't think of any two that are exactly the same, and that's why this is a great song for learning some of these different licks you can play in the E position using the open strings. Here's fill lick number 2. more time. That's what I hear for the second fill. So the difference, the way I'm starting out, I'm leading in with the open second string, third fret, open first string, and then I'm going to the third fret of the first string, open, and then again getting that open second string. Listen carefully to the licks on the record and you'll hear that. So we got this. And then here, we're going to go from the open second string to the second fret of the third string, slight bend, open second again, and then second fret, hammer on to the first fret of the third string. So I'll play it again slowly. At the speed of the song, something very close to that. So that is fill lick number 2. The third fill lick in the first verse of Further On Up the Road, he does a lick mainly on the third string. Goes something like this. I may not have this one exactly right. Do it again. That's it right there. He doesn't... I am so used to hammering on to that first fret on the third string, but I'm pretty sure if you listen to the recording, he leaves that open. So what I'm doing is I'm starting a bend on the second fret of the third string, and then before I've even finished that bend, I'm going to pick it again and bend it a little further. He does something very close to that. Check the tab for the rest of this. Or you could do something along those lines. So that is the third fill. The fourth fill lick, we're going back to the single string runs, mostly on the first and second string, and he does something like this, a little different. One more time. What I'm doing here is I'm starting out with that bend on the third fret of the second string, open, and then third fret of the first string, open first, open second. That's the first part. Most of these fills you can break into 2 parts. So the first part is on the first and second strings, and then he goes to the second, third, and fourth. So when I try to tab these out, I tried to break down those 2 parts on every lick. So he does something like this. And then he's going to go from the second fret of the third string to the second fret of the fourth string. And then hammer on first fret of the third string. The whole lick together. You can see in each one of these licks there's just a little variation, slight difference. So that is fill lick number 4 for Bobby Bland's Further On Up the Road. The fifth fill lick, again, he's going back to the third string, second fret, and he plays something like this. Play it again. And again, we're bending up just a little bit on the third string, second fret, open second string, and then right here I think he's going open or second fret of the third string, and then hammering on to the first fret of the third string, or just leaving it open. In fact, again, I think he leaves that open. Another way to play that would be to slide from the second fret of the third string to the fourth fret before you get that open second string. But I think he plays it right here. Listen to the original recording and see what you think. All these licks are being played in this first position blues box over the first position E chord. So that's why I'm saying I show you some of these. You can probably take the tab and listen and maybe spot some things I didn't get, but this is where he's playing this stuff. And then the last fill lick at the very end of the verse is pretty simple. He's just going to do a single string lick descending on this first position E blues box, something like this. So open first string, third fret of the second string, open, second fret of the third string, hammer on to the first fret. So like this. And it's just a brief lick right at the end of the first verse. There's a stop, and then they go into the second verse. So if you listen to Bobby Bland's Further On Up the Road, you hear these great guitar fills being played, and that's how I think they're being played. Once again, either they've got a capo, Pat Hare or whoever played these has a capo on the first fret playing in the E position, or possibly tune the guitar down from an E to an F so you could play in that E position without the capo and you'd still be in the key of F. If you know the answers to any of these questions, by all means chip in the comment section or send me an email or something. Again, I have the first verse that I went through here. I have the complete tab that I did for the whole song. I did not do the solo, and I did not do one of the verses where he just sticks on that third string. I thought that's pretty simple. You can figure that one out yourself. But I did all the licks where he's playing the single string runs. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this lesson, especially if you're just getting started playing electric blues guitar. Some of these old records, these guys did things that are different. I remember when I was younger, I'd listen to a record like this and I'd try to figure out how they were getting the sounds, having no idea about how you used a capo. And once I learned about the capo, then it was like, that's how they did it. So when you listen to guys like Johnny Guitar Watson, Gatemouth Brown, Guitar Slim, they're all using a capo. At least I think they are. Okay, I'll be back again in a few months and I'll have another lick. Next time we'll focus on just one lick. And until then, take care. I'll see you then.